Okay, so what I'm going to do is got a student problem here. Okay, this isn't working with advanced skeleton. So first off, let's just check this out. First thing I see is I come in here and I check out this geometry layer. Advanced skeleton doesn't like this. In here, if I take a look, there is there's more groups with under the group. So it doesn't like this. So first thing I'm going to do is grab everything, and I'm going to go and select this. I'm going to go and hit P, so it's parented in, and let's try that again. Oh, and freaking hell. There's, whenever you're using the outliner, I always have to remember that you have to use Control to select the other one, otherwise you hit Shift, it grabs the ones in between. It didn't used to work like that, and somebody somewhere changed it and made it work like that, and I hate it. Anyway, there, it's fixed. Okay, and let's just go in here, and so there's all this extra groupage. Let's get rid of that. So this is what it wants first off. Also, we should name some things so that they're more appropriately named. This is top. What is that? Okay, so after I did that, when I regrouped them, we had some issues. So now I just gotta go back and put this back so they're all in here. Looks like some of these pieces in the mouth have already been bound to something. So let's just grab everything and make sure that nothing's locked. So I'm going to right click, unlock. Okay, and just check those teeth again. Okay, and now grab everything, hold down Control, grab that, and hit P so they're parented in. Did anything move or twitch or freak out? No. I'll get rid of this other stuff. Might want to make sure that these things are named. Oh, actually, I can also see that I'm going to freeze out the transformations on these things. It might be just a bit easier to make sure that, like, you know, these are named, so it's not just bottom, because I don't know what the bottom is. So teeth bottom. Let's see, what do we got? This will be the body. It says Geo. Let's call that body. Okay, and just make sure everything has got a different name. Let's see, iris. So this is the iris on the right side. Iris right. And that's retina left. Okay, what is this? Tongue? That's fine. Body's fine. Top, I don't know what that is. So, teeth, top. Okay, and then we got sclera, and that's sclera left. And sclera right. Almost trying to sound like a square dancing song. And or sclera actually, and there's retina. That's retina right. Okay, anything else? And there's iris. Iris left. Okay, everything's named. And also too, everything's frozen out. Now, one other thing I did notice. Here, let's just go and hit 5. And when I do this, you'll notice that all of the this is all hard-edged. I'm just going to grab everything, and I'm just going to go to Mesh Display and hit Soften Edge. And I'll delete the history on the stuff too. There. Okay, so it's all got a soft edge. Now, one more thing I got to do before I try to take this into Advanced Skeleton. You can kind of see something weird happening right there. You see a weird shadow. Okay, we're having an indication that there's N-gons. And so let's go and take a look. If I have this selected and I go to Select, Use Constraints, and I have it set to Current and Next, I switch over here to Face Mode, and I drag across the whole body to check. And here I'll just hit F, and we've got N-gons in the face. And remember, this is going to cause you issues with Advanced Skeleton. It doesn't like N-gons in here. And so I can see there's a few, and actually let's just hit 4, so you can see a wireframe. There they all are. Let's start here, because those might be easy, so I'm going to hit 5. And they look fine, but let's go over here to vertice mode. No, I don't see anything weird there. Okay, well, let's see what happens when we press 3. And does anything magically appear? Anything odd? Oh, there's one right there, that thing. There's a vertice right there, and you can see another one there. I just press delete and they go away. And there's another one right there. I'm just going to check out something. If I go and I hit 1, so there's like, oh, there we go. You can see them. There's like right on top of each other almost. There's an extra vertice right here. Just delete, boom, that's fixed. Okay. So let's go back to faces. And we're on n-gons, current and next. If I drag across them, they don't select anymore. Let's go over here. What do we got up here in the back of the head? Probably a similar thing. If I go to vertex mode, there's one. And I can actually just go to this area here, I suspect, and just press delete. Let's go back to face mode, reselect the area, and they're gone. So whatever it was is gone. Okay, so what do we got over here? Boop. I'm just going to hit 4 and check this out. Is that it? That's it. Oh, there's one more somewhere up on the top of the head. Okay, let's hit 5. And right up here, extra vertice, you can see that totally right there. If I just hit delete, it'll get rid of that. It's getting rid of that one vertice because that's a winged vertice. That's what I call them, right? A vertice with just 2 edges associated with it. I might be able to do the same thing down here. Just grab it all and hit delete. And let's go back to face mode. And when I go in here to select again, still grabbing 1. Okay, so this one here, there, that's going to cause you a crash for sure. Multi-cut tool, there, to that point, right click and fixed. Anything else I might consider? Yeah, you can probably get away with this. The triangles aren't even a problem, most likely. Just going to delete the history, and let's go and make sure this works, so I'm not a liar. I think that is most of the problems. I might also mention that the eyelids here should maybe come down a bit, so they kind of they're just on the outside of the eye. Otherwise there's going to be some potential problems in calculating the soft doughy eye that Advanced Skeleton will give you. So I'm just going to hit B, change my drop off a little bit so I can pull these down, just because I think that's going to be potentially an issue. Hopefully it doesn't go too much off style with what you had in mind, but there we have it. Okay, I think we're good. I'm just going to open up the Advanced Skeleton, and I'm using Advanced Skeleton 5.7. Okay, where am I? If I go into rigging, is it there? It's there. Okay, good. I've noticed there's something in the latest one that I'm not crazy about yet. Yeah, so there's 5.7, and I can even just go in here and double check on this pre stuff. Actually, one thing I haven't checked. I haven't looked at this. So let's just take your character. I always just make them stand on the grid. The feet are a little bit rounded and soft, so that might be weird. Later on, I might actually, let's bring that foot down, grab these vertices here, and I'm just going to pull them up. Maybe if I even scale them flat. Yes, and then I'll pull that down. Okay, great. Okay. And anything else is bothering me in here? What was the other thing I was thinking about? Oh, I was going to go to the front view and just make sure the character is directly in the center. If I hit 4, I'm just giving it a quick look over, looking to see if there's anything deviating from the center. Something funny right there. Just want to see if that's... Oh, and I've got select, use constraints. I just got to go in here and I got to hit close and reset that thing. Otherwise, it's trying to find n-gon still. Okay, so let's turn off soft selection. Just going to go like this. Okay, so there's faces back there. There's a line. Okay, good. I thought for a second that might indicate that there is a face directly in the center with no line in the middle of it, because that's another thing I noticed, that Advanced Skeleton likes it if you have a direct line in the center. Okay, let's say that's going to be fine. Okay, so model clean. It's already got a thing called Geo, so I'm just going to hit clean. And okay, so what it does is it goes and just cleans up all the junk that's left over, and then we are totally left with just one node for the geometry. Okay, and maybe one more thing I might just do right here right away. I'm just going to line this up a bit better. I'm just going to take the body. I'm holding down. Actually, do I have to hold down anything? No, I don't. There's a teeth on the bottom, teeth on the top. I'm just middle clicking and dragging them around, so they're just changing their order a little bit. There's a tongue, sclera right and left. I just kind of like it if everything's kind of together. Oh, and I don't want that parented in. I want that there. So retina, iris, and sclera are okay, and then down here there's, it's, what is it, retina. Just keep it in the same order so it's just easier to look at and think about. Done. And then so we did the model clean, model check for symmetry. You can I found this isn't 100% necessary. And save your clean model. Also, you can check for symmetry. It says you don't have to. And so there's some kind of weird issue on the front of the face, but I think it should be okay. And we're going to save this. So I'm just going to go File, and I'll hit Save Scene As, and Test Advanced Skeleton. And I'm just going to put this here in my downloads. Okay, so I know, find it quickly. Okay, and then new scene, reference, and when I reference, I don't like this model thing. I always go for the third option, and just gonna zip in here to the downloads and find the test, Advanced Skeleton, hit reference, continue, and there it is, voila. Okay, and then I'm going to turn this off of template, and what time am I at? 12-minute mark. Okay, and then let's close that down. Close down the pre section. We'll go into the body, fit, and I'll hit import with a biped. It's small. I'm going to grab the scale tool, grab the big circle, and I'll just make it bigger. I'm just going to let's close this down. Let's put this into two panels. Put on the wireframe. Okay, and I'm just going to put this up so the arm is kind of in the ballpark. That's usually what I always do, is kind of base the size off of the lining up the arm. And let's hit 4. Take this and go to the side view, and I'll hit 4. Okay, and let's get the move tool. Now, as I'm doing this, I've found you've got your joints. Change the size of that if you want to. I think it should be fine. I'm just going to put the root here. And my hip. The hip is going to go right about there. Okay. Come back for this one. There. Take the chest. And I'm putting this up in here in the base of the neck. This goes kind of under the earlobe. I find that works best. This one's going to go in front of the earlobe. This joint here go in front of the chin. This one put on the head. And what we got? There's the eyeball over here. And hopefully, it looks like these eyeballs have been rotated. I didn't check that. So you want them facing kind of forward. Otherwise, they're going to be a little bit weird. Okay. And the pivot point's in a bad spot, too. The pivot point, I have the move tool on, but I don't see it, so that probably means it's all sitting down at the bottom or something like that. I should have done this before I got this far, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go into that file. Let's just go right click. I'm going to open up another Maya. I'm just going to pause it while it opens the other Maya. Okay, just so you can see what I've done, I've just opened up another Maya. I've opened up the scene file called test AS, and I'm just going to go to the front view, and I'm just going to quickly adjust the problem. If I go into, I just realized there's probably another quagmire of problems right here. If I go in and I hit 4 so you can see what's going on, I think all these things are probably all rotated slightly. Okay, so what happens if I go in and I go edit and I hit group, and then I go over and I hit center pivot and I grab the rotate tool, and I'm just gonna eyeball this. Also too, I can notice that this thing is not it's not completely round. It's been scaled slightly in one direction. I can see it's narrower on the sides here. Keep them as spheres. Keep them as spheres. They're much easier to deal with. Okay, I'm going to call that good. I'll freeze it and edit, ungroup. Okay, now they're all in the same kind of spot. I'll take these ones and I'm going to edit, group, and then I'll hit center pivot and see if I can kind of make it look the same. They should ideally be pointing straight forward. I'm just going to freeze that and not anything but round. They should all just be round. Okay, and I can kind of see this, and it looks like it's been tilted this way too, so I don't know what happened there, but anyway. Let's freeze it, edit, ungroup, done. Everything's back to normal, and I'm just going to hit, oh, and is this thing just double checking? Everything's frozen out. Okay, cool. And I'll hit File, Save Scene. Okay, and it's not perfect. I'm just trying to whip through this, otherwise I'd end up making everything over again. And if I switch back to this one, I can go into File now and hit Reference Editor. And I'm just going to go into File, and which one is it? Reference, rather. Reload. Okay. And now the eyes are fixed. Okay, great. I'll close this up, and I'm just going to close up this other Maya here, so we don't need that anymore. Saved. Goodbye, guys. Cool. And yeah, so I just showed you a little trick. You can hopefully figure it out easily. Hopefully this doesn't cause any problems. Okay, so back to what I was doing. Get this eyeball in here, and I'm going to hold down V, and I'm going to go V this way. You bastard. There. And I just missed a hotkey, that's all. And you can kind of see it's not perfect. Once you go off of the 90-degree angles with the eyeballs, and they're kind of slightly rotated, it's really hard to get them back. So we're just going to have to pretend and see if this works. Okay. Boop. So, oh, I've got that. Now I got to put in the rest of it. No, I'm not going to get too fancy, because the big problem is just making sure the face works. Knee, ankle. Remember, the ankle is good to kind of go in a bit low. The heel. Before I get too carried away with that, I just want to make sure the leg is lining up. And I always kind of say that actually this is pretty good right here. Hip, knee, and ankle are on a straight line. So it means life is going to be relatively easy. And then there's the tip of the toe. And big toe, kind of put this down. This is where the foot is gonna bank side to side. And again, these are kind of soft. They're very socky. So if I had shoes, I'd be looking at the shoes. Let's go zipping up this way. And there's the scapula, usually simpler, something like that. And I'm just going to double check, yeah, the position is good. I was just looking at it from the side. And then the shoulder. As I'm putting these in, I'm just going to rotate the shoulder so the elbow is kind of lined up. And then I'm going to do the snap to projected centers. And then when I grab the move tool, it will snap into the projected center for the shoulder. And the elbow should probably be somewhere around there. Although usually the elbow is widest when you're looking at it in the front, right where it should bend. And it's a bit narrower over here, but I suspect, yeah, this is just my anatomy kicking in. Actually, it should be right there. Okay, and then we'll get the wrist. And for the wrist, let's come down from the top view. Okay, and the wrist I always find just goes in a little bit. From where it's very narrow, just in a bit works better. Okay, let's go to the perspective view. The finger's too big, so I'm just going to change the joint size. If you hold down control, you get a finer amount of control in here. There, great. And let's do this, do that. There could be, oh you bastard, there could be more subdivisions on this. Here, I'm just gonna go in here and put this onto shaded, and I'll put on shading X-ray joints. And if I put on wireframe unshaded, you can just see there's not enough supporting geometry around where the fingers and knuckles are gonna bend. Okay, so some things to think about. And I'm just going to roughly place these where... And right here at this stage, before we get too far, this is a good time that if you're going to put those extra things in, you would probably do it now before you put the rig in. Especially if you get the face rig working. Inserting edge loops afterwards kind of becomes a bit of a nuisance. There's ways around it, but it's just more of a nuisance. It's just better to do it now. Okay, so good. I'm just, because we weren't using fit mode, I'm just going to hit update, and that's going to change the orientation of some of the joints. And I think it did it really fast. Everything should be fine. I'm just going to double check that. I hit update now. Anything happened? Nothing happened. It just did it really fast. Okay, then I'm going to go down to build, and I'm going to hit build advanced skeleton. 23-minute mark. Okay, so we've done fit, we did edit, the skeleton was built, build complete. Now I'm just going to go to form. I'm going to, if you're nothing selected, I'm going to hit select deform joints. I'm going to grab the body mesh. I'm going to hit set smooth bind options. Dook. Done. Okay. Now, I'm not going to bother with anything else in here. I'm going to go down to the face. And here's the big moment of truth. So let's do the fit or create fit skeleton node. And this is the stage where you don't want to screw up. Because otherwise you have to do this stuff over again. I'm going to turn off the snap to projected centers, put this down so it's just below the chin. I use the scale tool, scale it down so this is on the top of the head. Okay, so that's just helping advanced skeleton figure out where the head is. And for the face, I'm going to go and hit face. Okay, I'm getting spinning wheel of blue death. It did it. Okay, vertices aren't symmetrical, continue anyway. Keep the current weighting. We haven't really done any weighting, so it doesn't matter. Now, all head. So for this, we want to grab in the outliner. Let's just open this puppy up. We're just going to grab everything, and that's all head. And it's going to say you want to create a skin cluster. You go, yeah, let's do that. Okay, and then for the right eye. So now with the right eye, if I go in here and I grab all the pieces of the right eye, grab all the left eye pieces, left eyes, teeth top, upper teeth, teeth bottom, tongue, there. That part is done. Okay, next thing, eyeball. Now when you're doing the eyeball, I have found that if you grab the sclera, because that's the, or the cornea piece, this one here is kind of missing a piece. I would do this slightly differently. I usually model my eyes with 4 pieces. And I'm going to go and hit eyeball, and it's going to replace it with a perfectly round piece of eyeball. Okay, and it looks like it might be confused slightly. Actually, this is interesting. Did I miss something? Nope, doesn't look like it. I'm curious if I should make that bigger or not. Something tells me I should make that a little bit bigger. Okay, I'm doing something bad here. I'm going out on a limb seeing it, because that should be the same size as the sclera. Okay, and now when it comes to the geometry on the face here, there isn't a lot around the eyes. You could be a little bit to your benefit to have more, but I'm just going to see if I can make it work. Eyelid outer. And as I do this, there it is. Okay, there's just it seemed to have a slight hesitation and or a lag. And then eyelid main. This is where I was kind of like concerned because I can see it kind of crashing through in areas. This one here is up here, it's on the top, and then down here is kind of in a funny position. I'm going to go with this one. See what happens. And this all has to be connected. See if this works. Okay, it looks like it's all going to work. And let's just take another one that's inside a little bit. I'm just going to go for that one. Yeah. This whole eye socket isn't quite working. We'll see. We'll see. Just looking at how the geometry is kind of in here, it's intersecting with the eyeball geometry, and we want the edge loops to be kind of on the outside. I pulled it down a bit in this area, but it's just a bit weird. So let's go and take a look at the lip outer and get that and hit, I'm going to call that, let's call this one the lip outer. And uh-oh, not a complete edge loop. So why wasn't that? So if I go in here and I double check on this, oh, it hit this point right here and it didn't complete around. Okay, so there, we'll use that. And so lip outer, let's just turn that off. Okay, I'll do it again. There. Okay, and then there's lip main. I personally would have had an edge loop right through the middle of this lip right here. But let's see what happens when I do this. Double click, I grab this whole loop. There's a little bit of overlap and stuff like that right in the corners here, which might be a bit weird. I'm still chugging right through. And get this one here. Hopefully that's a complete edge loop. And I'll hit loop inner. Okay, so it's created that mouthpiece thing. Okay, great. Holy cow. And then we're moving down here into the gauntlet. Eyebrow inner. So let's go, come on. Let's go in and grab, I'll call it this one. Some of the geometry is a little bit funny around here, so just how it's following through the middle of the brow. But eyebrow inner, book, and then go over here to vertice, and I'm gonna just guess that it looks something like this, and I'll say eyebrow outer, eyebrow middle, grab a vertice in the middle, and I'll call it this one. Boop. Okay. And then forehead. So, and remember, if you get stuck on anything, just hit the question mark and it'll show you pictures of what it wants you to select. And I'll go and grab this vertex here. I'll go up, and I'm gonna go up to here. And so I got those two, and I got one over here, something like that. And I'll hit forehead, and it tries to connect them together. That looks quite reasonable. There's something flaky right there, and over here. We'll see. Hopefully that won't be a problem. And so the jaw pivot. Where does the jaw pivot from? Just in front of the earlobe. So jaw pivot, boink. Jaw corner. I find these kind of strange names. Corner down here. Because you have, like, I don't know, the jaw pivot and the corner feel like they should be kind of the same thing. Anyway, put this one right here on the chin, and that's the jaw. Then we got throat. Damn it. I hate that. That poly skin weights thing is too close to the vertex tool, so let's get rid of that. And throat. Okay, and we're going for the cheek. And cheekbone, so it's this corner up here, maybe. I'll call it that. Cheek razor there. Smile bulge. Somewhere right around here. And the frown. Bulge. The nose. I gotta double check this. It's the tip of the nose, right? Yep, yep, yep. Nose under. Nose corner. Create jaw curves. Bloop. Does it. And no selection needed for the tongue. Boop. And with the tongue, it put all these things out here. It doesn't really show you what to do, does it? Oh, it is. It does, but it doesn't tell you that you have to do this. What you want to do is, let's go to this side view, and let's just see what we got. These things, and I'll hit 4. And there's all my tongue pieces. So I'm just going to see if I can select this. There's one in the base. And it looks like I might have grabbed the curve at the same time. There. There's one. Two. It doesn't really tell you that you're supposed to do this. I'll put that kind of in the tip, but there we go. My God, we've got all the pieces together. And now, if I go down here to build, this is the moment of truth. Here, we'll just play it. Always fun to watch. I should have opened up the build here, and then we could see it going one by one and see where it gets stuck. But I wasn't smart enough to remember to do that. If I right click in here and I press 5, can we see it in shaded mode at least? It's doing something with the eyes, so this is good. We're on step 4, the eyelids. It'll let me do that. We're on step 9. Remember, at this stage right here, it is converting into, I do believe it's converting into some kind of end cloth to stretch out the face like that when it's generating the blend shapes. The jaw is finished. Nose, all these parts are kind of the simple parts. It's usually, it's going to blow it. It'll usually happen a bit earlier than later. see it's hanging at 80%. Hopefully this one isn't going to take too long. This is one of these times where sometimes when in the very last steps you have to just sit there and let it go for like 15 minutes. And then I got some kind of warning here, and I think that's like a normal warning I get. I'm just going to double check here. So go down to the bottom. Did it say it completed it? Yeah, there it is. Base build complete. So I got something else going on in here, whatever it is. So it worked. Let's hit 5 and double check. Make sure I'm not a liar. Whoop. Okay, there's something wrong in here. Let's see, what do the eyes like? So the eyes are working, but again, it was kind of like I was saying, some of the edge rings here just aren't really lining up the eyes perfectly, but that worked. What does the blink think? And right in here, you can see that you could have used some more edge loops in the geometry before we made this. And the weighting here for this jaw, though, is bothering me, but yeah, so we might have to go in here and do some weighting changes. But for the most part, it did work. I wonder what the hell is that problem? This, just thinking what that would be. Anyway, we got the first part of this is working. I wasn't crazy about these corners down here. They might be causing part of the problem. I noticed that some of the loops, like for instance this loop, when I double click on it, it kind of goes around the outside, but the other one on the inside here wasn't as happy. Right there where it gets crunchy. And the triangles, I might have a tendency to bury the triangles somewhere in the back of the mouth, in the throat. And I'm going to leave it at that here, because what is it? This is 37 minutes long. Okay, I'm going to stop here.